In today's video, we see an F1 fantasy come true as Kimi Antonelli goes toe-to-toe with Max Verstappen as we are at the Bahrain Grand Prix in Season 5 of this F1 25 My Team career mode. And after a very chaotic season opener last time out in the Australian Grand Prix, we come into this episode with a lot of questions still unanswered for how this season is going to go. But we got some little inklings and flashes of brilliance. You know, we saw Tsunoda at one point taking the lead driving the Williams Porsche car, but it was a roller coaster and a half for that team as later on they would go to crash with their competitor Max Verstappen and would then go on to effectively retire from the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, back in our camp, on the other side of things, the other Williams Porsche overtaking our AI teammate of Antonelli on the last lap. We came through with a pretty strong, after considering everything, P4 there, you know, having been knocked out in Q2. It was a really solid first race, I think, as a good baseline, but it was a typical season opener where it was really hard to really tell how the season's going to go. It's going to take a few races because these first few races are all so different, from Australia to Bahrain to Jeddah to Monaco, for goodness sake, then to Catalonia. Or the first 5 races are such different types of circuits. So that's really going to be the tester, I think. After Spain, we'll maybe get a better picture of how things are. The R&D chart looks like this, but it's still going to evolve just a little bit into the next few races. But of course, also, we've known for a season or two now, you know, it's so zoomed in, it's really just about track dependency, AI momentum, and also you got to factor in, I believe this performance chart factors in your engine performance overall, and we know, if you caught on with the pre-season and the previous episode, that this Jaguar engine we have for Season 5 is down on power ever so slightly to the other engine manufacturers. So that on paper might make the package look worse, but clearly from Australia, we've actually benefited from better tyre wear this season. Unlike last season, where constantly the tyres were just feeling awful. We're having to, you know, skate around, go opposite lock. Even though numerically the tyre wear was kind of there in Australia, feeling-wise, actually felt brilliant. Hasn't felt like that for a while, basically, like since our first championship season in Season 3, was it? You know, the car felt stable, even with quote-unquote high tyre wear. So that's quite positive, and I think that could maybe outdo any foibles with a lack of straight line speed. You know, we're able to carry, you know, tyres later into stints or just be able to push that bit harder. And we're going to put it to the test now with one aggressive driver of Kimi Antonelli. So we step onto the other side of the garage for Bahrain.
Under the bright lights of Bahrain, it is time for qualifying. Grid position up in the air. Who is going to seize the moment?
Bahrain generally on F1 25 has been a good race for the My Team car, so I'm expecting an uptick of performance compared to last episode. And then also, just as we put in more laps with this new package, we'll get more comfortable with it. You know, the drivability of the engine. Every time you change engine, it does actually genuinely change the handling of the car. The engine braking is different. The way the power is delivered is different. You know, we saw with the Mercedes engine at the start of the series, it was a very planted, balanced car. Then we moved to the Porsche engine, very erratic, you know, obviously a great package, but needed a lot of work to kind of be able to dance that car around. In the opposite way, I felt like this Jaguar package has been very blunt. Like, the front end isn't quite there, but it feels stable because of that. But it's a case of having to really try and caress the nose in to get turning. I felt quite a few times there's quite a lot of understeer around Albert Park. So I'm hoping that we can try and rectify that around Bahrain, but that will actually help us out because it's a bit of a traction area, Bahrain. Power circuit as well, though, might hinder us, obviously, just because of the out-and-out power of the Jaguar engine. But I think as we get on through the laps, we'll get a better understanding of how to best drive this car. And what is different into this episode visually then is you'll notice the shade of green, as I did actually mention in last episode that I thought, although in the menus of the My Team main menu, the livery we originally made was great, in practice, the metallic green we chose was a little bit too dark. So we've just gone a step lighter on the metallic finish to get it a bit more like an actual British racing green rather than a very, very dark green as it was in that overcast Australian Grand Prix. So hopefully you guys prefer that. I certainly do for sure. Definitely looks a bit more Jaguar than they maybe did in the first episode. But Q1 then, I mean, it's just about getting through into Q2, isn't it? And we do just that alongside our AI now, Oscar Piastri, who's showing good progress there in P5. Colapinto and Red Bull looking pretty strong there. Maybe, slight different pecking order here. Immediately Ferrari not looking as strong as they were in Albert Park. Haas also not looking as strong. And Honda maybe back to form with Liam Lawson. And Bortoleto clearly still, though, struggling to get used to the Honda car. Just showing that actually maybe in the game, genuinely in the coding, there is something about when drivers move teams, it takes them a few races, because we've seen that before in previous seasons when we've had some driver transfers where they've taken a few races, then they've hit their stride. Or, for example, Piastri, he took like a whole season to get used to the Red Bull team before he then hit his stride a bit more, and then the team let him down last season, wasn't it? And that's why we've ended up signing him to save him from that debacle of, having led the championship for a third of the season 4, and then it all fell away for him, didn't it, last season? But now, this is now, and we're focused on ourselves, driving as Antonelli, and hopefully Piastri's AI can do the job in this second part of qualifying. But yeah, I mean, the first 5 races, like I said, being so different, we're going to get some wild swings, and here we are then, looking at Haas not looking as strong, Red Bull looking better than they were last time out, but they're pretty strong in Albert Park, so it's just a case of now, is that enough for them to fight for race wins? We've set a very decent lap in Q2 that I think will be enough to get us through, honestly, but Piastri's lap, a little bit precarious, a little bit slow, needs to find a few tenths. We've got some other drivers of Gasly, Albon, even Stroll in the much improved McLaren for this season, could be a threat, so they need to go again. And obviously my eyes glued to where Piastri is, driving as him. We got knocked out last time out because of our own mistake, but can his AI rectify that? Unfortunately, no, he can't. He can't go quicker. I don't think he even improved on that second lap. He's out. So Piastri, whether it's his AI or I'm driving as him, is there already a weird pattern forming of Piastri being the slower qualifier than Antonelli? I mean, to be fair, I think in real life, I think Antonelli is a very hot shot over one lap, and Piastri, generally in his head-to-head versus Lando Norris has never been the best qualifier until maybe this season in the first half, so maybe it checks out a little bit, but yeah, so I'm happy we're through into Q3, but unfortunately, we're still not both cars into the top 10 shootout, just us flying the Italian flag for this team. By the way, I didn't ever mention it in the pre-season, but hope you guys know that the Italian in-game sponsor that we've got on the side that you can see on the bottom left there, the reason why I've chosen that as a prominent sponsor is literally just because Antonelli is obviously Italian, so trying to get that lore going wherever we can, even with the fake in-game sponsors is anyway, I digress. We move on to this top 10 shootout progress, and right now that first lap was okay, wasn't anything amazing though because it's only P8, but the second lap much better in sector 1. Turn 1 was really tricky with this understeering package we've got for season 5, so much better to get the nose turn in that time, and it's just about trying to carry that forward through. The last corner as well was where we're losing some time in the first 2 sessions, so gaining time there. Ultimately, it's going to be enough for P6, which I'm not entirely happy about, but we'll have to take, basing off how we were in the first episode with this car over one lap. But the big surprise is Franco Colapinto on pole position in his second race only for Red Bull Ford, alongside Verstappen though. So Verstappen and McLaren, they are looking serious. If luck went their way, they could have been right in the title fight last season. So it looks like they're trying to make up for that with this season's package. But Red Bull are genuinely quick and up there, but they need to sort out the infighting they had last episode. Lawson rectifies Honda's woe from the first episode, and Williams Porsche not looking as quick over one lap around Bahrain, but let's see how it goes into the race. Let's go to the grid.
It started as a day race, it now runs at night. Welcome to Bahrain International Circuit for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Franco Colapinto lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Gasly, Lawson, Esteban Ocon, and Antonelli. Norris, Tsunoda, Sainz, Paul Aaron, Albon, Martins, Pepe Marti and Stroll, O'Sullivan, Maloney, Gabriel Bortoletto and Nicola Solov, Doohan, Crawford, Barnard and Oscar Piastri rounds off the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. Well, we welcome you to the broadcast. It's going to be some race today. First of all, introductions. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me for this one, Anthony Davidson. Well, this is the most advanced sport anywhere on the planet. How's it changed since you were last racing?
The cars have got bigger, they're heavier, but critically there's more downforce to play with as well now. There was around 4 tons of downforce on the car at 300 kilometers an hour when I drove. You're now looking more towards 5 tons of downforce. So there's a big difference in performance, but because of that, the car being heavier and bigger, you've got to drive in a smoother way. You've got to look after it a bit more. You've got to nurse it through the slow speed corners more. They were much more nimble, agile machines when I drove in Formula 1 compared to now.
Okay, give me a quick radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
Bahrain's always a very strategic race, so knowing that maybe this car is a little bit kinder in its tyres, or at least performs better even on worn tyres, it's hard to tell which way it kind of goes. I mean, either way, it felt better than last season. With that in mind, maybe we can be a bit more aggressive with when we make pit stops. We're starting on the mediums, for example. Everyone around us on hard, so clearly they're all thinking the tyre wear is maybe a bit harsher and they need the hard tyre to take them through well into the race, or they're just wanting to go on quicker tyres at the end. But I reckon stick a medium on here, try and get a couple of overtakes, and then we can maybe be in the fight, dare I say, for our first podium of the season. That's where my head's at. You would have seen on the grid sequence, unfortunately, it is a very difficult start for Piastri at life here at this team in terms of his grid positions, because we were out in Q2 last time, and into this race he has got a engine penalty. So not only did he miss out on Q3, he's taken penalties. Maybe that's the reason why, but I mean, I literally just drove as him last episode and there was no problems with the engine wear or anything like that. So that's a bit concerning and frustrating to see. So he's at the back of the grid, so eyes on him to see what kind of recovery he can make in this race. It's going to be a very tale of two different sides of the garage as we go into this Bahrain Grand Prix, and another chance to get a better grip at this car for this season as we go to lights out, and we're underway from P6. It's a great start initially. Massive tank slapper as we climb up the gears. I think there may have been even a bit of contact with the Ferrari as we nearly decked it into the back of Lawson. Surprisingly great getaway, and then controlled it, and actually somehow we've held it through for P4, to be honest, as we wrestled quite literally the car through into turn 1 as Gasly gets a tank slapper out. So it looks like Bahrain's a bit low grip, it seems, here in this new season, at least in this opening lap, as Verstappen leads the way again, looking mighty, and he gets Colapinto off the line. So Verstappen honestly is looking like a very dangerous prospect, and well, if we can get through the Red Bulls, it might be our role to try and take him down if we can. It's behind, it's Aaron versus Ocon, as it's a 6-7 for Williams and Porsche, and actually both of them very good starts, you must say, because I think they were 8 and 9, so both Williams cars looking very quick. And of course Tsunoda will have a bit of a bit between his teeth to make up for that DNF in Australia, and well, this is a similar sight to what we saw in Albert Park. The two Red Bulls side by side, a little bit of argy-bargy as they start fighting immediately, and there have been no lessons learned from that opening race. They're letting Verstappen walk away, and you know what? I think it's my turn to get past them and show them how it's done as we try and go for the double overtake. It's 3 wide into turn 1. Rear end steps out as we bang tyres with Pierre Gasly. We try and go in for the cutback to get the tighter line. Get on power earlier. Didn't quite work because Colapinto's got away, but we are going to squeeze through on the inside of Pierre Gasly. He's going to hardly give us any room to work with, and we're going to repay the favour Tsunoda as he gets very aggressive with our all-time rival, and we're up into P3, and now setting our sights on Colapinto. I genuinely, already it seems like, if we let the Red Bulls do the same thing, Verstappen is going to walk away with this. I need to get Colapinto, and I reckon I have a good chance of maybe attacking him for the lead and the win by the end of this race, maybe, depending on how the strategy goes. But this is a replay of the race start, and you saw there, I actually did make contact with the Ferrari, so apologies to him. But yeah, very, very sheepish, climb up the gears. But this track does seem very low grip. You can see on my steering wheel, I'm going opposite quite a few times. It's obviously a night race. Sometimes track temperatures are quite cold, but compared to previous seasons, definitely seems like everyone's finding the track a bit more nervous than usual. We can't quite finish the move on Colapinto on the exit. We're side by side. He's on the inside, and having been on pole position, might be down to P3 now, but we're going to have to work for it as we now go for this switchback, and this seems like a choreographed dance with Franco Colapinto as we swap sides corner after corner. We get it done though, and imagine my shock looking back and gassing Colapinto side by side again. I honestly think, put your bets now, the entire Red Bull season will be boiled down to they could never stop fighting each other. I mean, IRL, they're teammates in Alpine, so maybe, with the update, with Colapinto now being the official Alpine driver in the game, maybe the patch, maybe there's an update that these two as AI drivers, they know they're real-life teammates, and they just fight each other a lot. Because I feel like if they were both in Alpine in this series right now, they would be fighting just like this. So, I don't know, maybe there's something there, but Tsunoda is going to cut through them, or try to at least, and begin to, like I am, as he looks to try and get up into P4. So, Porsche Williams with some decent first initial race pace here. I mean, they're on the hard tyres, the Red Bulls on the medium, so this is more impressive from Tsunoda to be attacking Pierre Gasly, although I think I can spot, I think Gasly's actually got some damage on the front wing from Colapinto, shock horror, as Lawson overtakes Aaron and Stroll. 3-car fight there. The Honda gets up into P6 after a very disappointing opening round. Lawson showing the Honda's got a bit more pace as there's fighting between the Cadillac, Norris's Mercedes, the reigning champ that is, and Ocon in the Ferrari. Great to see Cadillac actually looking somewhat competitive there, and Martin's giving it a good go to try and break into the top 10. Meanwhile, I can see down below, progress is slow but steady, I would say, for Oscar Piastri, our AI teammate in this one. 17th place, Bortoletto P16, clearly not, matching Lawson at the moment. And Piastri, I mean, I think there's still more to come, but he's also chosen the mediums. Interesting. So my AI teammate's also gone a bit more aggressive on the start compared to others. But yeah, Bortoletto clearly moving to Honda, still taking time to get used to things because his teammate's 10 places up in 6th place and doing very, very well. I pegged Honda to be up there as one of the teams knocking on the door for the top teams alongside Williams. Williams definitely have been there with Tsunoda and Aaron, to be fair, but obviously still yet to fully maybe achieve the potential that is there, because I mean Tsunoda was on pole position for goodness sake last time out, and that ended in misery. So I'm hoping maybe he can show what he's made of here, and I suspect, to be honest, getting up to 3rd place for Tsunoda over Team Colapinto might be a good race at the end of this thing. I think you would agree. And Aaron overtaking Lawson to get up into 6th place here. So Lawson's got a fight on his hands, and that will be a good position for Aaron as well, I would say. I mean, really impressive last lap overtake on yours truly, Antonelli, in Albert Park. So Aaron actually impressing in the absence of Tsunoda there. But look at that, Tsunoda now closing up 6/10 behind Colapinto. The overtake is coming, you feel, on the second Red Bull. Colapinto can't blame it on fighting Gasly this time though. Tsunoda oh no, I thought Tsunoda was pulling out for an overtake. He's slow. Oh, it's all over for Williams Porsche for the 2nd race in a row. It's a calamity as the Porsche engine goes up in smokes. And hey, aren't you glad that we've not got that Porsche in the back of our car? Guaranteed, if we stuck with Porsche, I would have been the one with back-to-back DNFs at the start of this season. Guaranteed. right now, my move to Jaguar, not looking too shabby right now. I'm pretty happy with myself. As we watch on then, a race once again goes on without the Japanese driver. Lots of fighting going on outside the top 10. Look at this, 4 cars vying for positions. Bortoletto on the BWT Haas. Piastri looking to make the overtake on the Ferrari. And meanwhile, lap 9, we have closed up to Max Verstappen as we get right up into his engine gearbox, but can't quite make the dive bomb. I did think about the dive, but didn't quite have enough pace there, and instead we'll tuck in and try and maybe set up a move later on lap 10, depending on if Verstappen carries on, because as we get a bit of opposite lock, the tyre wear is starting to creep in, and there is potential for Verstappen to come in for his first pit stop. I'm thinking about going longer, because again, even though there's maybe a few moments of oversteer, the car's feeling pretty alright for 9 laps in the Bahrain GP, which usually, you know, from like the earlier seasons was a nightmare for tyre, whereas Piastri now on board with him and Albon looking to make this pass to get up into 15th place. So, like I said earlier, it's slow, but it is steady progress from Oscar Piastri. And if he's facing the same, like, good feeling in the car, where he's not feeling the tyre wear too much, I suspect that he is also going to benefit from that in terms of in the pit stop phases. I reckon he jumps a couple of cars just because he's going quicker whilst others feel tyre wear, because Verstappen's in and we carry on. And once again, even though the icon is orange at the bottom right there and numerically the tyre wear is quite high, it's not really feeling that bad, and pace-wise, I'm still able to pull in some good lap times here. So we carry on, we're stretching this to lap 12, and Piastri's done the same. Piastri comes in on this lap, and I'm going to come in on the next one, onto lap 13. So both myself and Piastri, that's proof in the pudding that both of us thought we could extend this medium tyre stint compared to the McLaren, who came in 2 laps earlier. Now my front end is really gone with the tyre wear, so it really is now time to come in. But that's genuinely very, very promising, because if this was last season, we would have been in probably on lap 9, to be honest. Lap 10, at least with Verstappen. But extending to lap 13 is very good, because now we can go on hards. And honestly, in my mind, going to, could we pull off some sort of crazy one-stop, I wonder, as,
Issue removing the left rear wheel.
Some things never change. Mistake on the pit stop there. That's, just all our pit crew, obviously, and we've maxed out on the pit crew upgrade, so we can't really blame that at all. But we're out then with a little bit of time lost, and we're out 6 seconds behind Verstappen. Probably could have been about 4 seconds behind Verstappen if it wasn't for that mistake, but that's still pretty all right. But yeah, I'm not going to lie. I honestly have thought, is a little cheeky one-stop on the cards here, because, well, the tyre wear was that good on the medium that we've nearly gone half a race distance in essence. So maybe a hard tyre could be dragged on. Piastri's not thought the same thing. He's gone aggressive, but it's working for him, because on the soft tyre, he makes 2 overtakes there, and all of a sudden, he's P11 and maybe knocking on the door of a top 10 very, very soon. So Piastri, from stone dead last, could be getting to the points and more, which would be very impressive for an AI driver of ours, like an AI teammate as well. Generally, you just don't think they can recover from the back of the grid, but he's doing very, very well. Meanwhile, though, at the front of this grid, Verstappen leads the way, 6 seconds the gap. We are going to try and bring that down. Of course, we've got fresher hard tyres. Colapinto in third, being chased down, though, by Paul Aaron, who is in the pit stop phases, jumped Gasly, gotten away from the cars he was with, of Lawson as well, and now, again, the lead Williams Porsche in this race, the only one left flying the flag, and might be on to look for a cheeky podium even, as in the bottom half of the top 10, Sainz ahead of Ocon, Lawson fighting with Lando Norris. So Norris did get the jump, but Lawson showing that on track, the Honda's got some good pace. So even though Mercedes can do some good work with the strategy, maybe getting Lando out ahead of Lawson, the Honda's got good pace, and so much good pace that he's caught Gasly. Gasly, of course, with the damage, and very stupidly, Red Bull have not fixed that damage. Why would you not fix that front wing? That is a confusing decision from Red Bull. And they kind of deserve to be overtaken here by Lawson in P5. Norris might be next, surely, so Gasly might be pushed down to P7 after such an initial strong start to the race, and Colapinto will be the one scoring more points. But like I said, Aaron, I think, is looking to try and get that third place. A very, very solid third place if he does get it. And there we go. Lando Norris, the reigning champ, up into P6. Mercedes not really found their feet quite yet in the season, but to be honest, that's what happened last season, and Lando ended up being champion. But the difference was, into this season, they probably wanted to start off stronger so they could win the Constructors, but it might be deja vu for them again. I don't know. We're going to have to see. But Piastri is carving his way through now, breaking into the top 10 here. Is easy side by side with Ocon. Can't quite make the move on him that time round, but I'm hoping he will soon enough, as on lap 18, our team, or Mark, my engineer, is signaling to me to maybe even think about, going a bit longer into the race for the second stop, or the option is there for the one stop. Like, my strategy screen literally either said pit for softs or just carry on to the end. So even the game maybe is thinking I could pull off a one stop. Well, right now, Verstappen pits on lap 19, 10 laps to go. I am going to carry on just to see what the pace is like, and ultimately I'm going to have to make a decision on the fly. And by lap 22, the gap is 25 seconds. I reckon we could come in and still be very close to Verstappen, and he's on hards. We'd be going on to softs. So I think let's not risk it too much and try a ballsy one stop. Let's not try and be a hero about this. Let's just come in, because everyone's going to make a second stop, it seems like. But this better tyre wear means I can go on to softs. So I would have used all three compounds, whereas Verstappen has gone medium, hard, hard. So I think this already, I know I said it's too early to call the pattern of this season. Gonna have to wait five races with these different tracks, but I think you can already say that this car is light years better on its tyres than last season, and that's gonna pay us dividends when it comes to being more aggressive with our tyre choices compared to last season. Thankfully, no pit stop mistake this time round, and that's gonna be pretty crucial, because as we come down the pit exit, there's Verstappen, and we're actually going to come out ahead of him. We've overcut him on that, slightly newer hard tyre than his. We got those that delta time on the hards has helped us out to get track position. The thing is, though, his tyres are fired up, so he's going to immediately be on it, and I'm actually going to tactically play this. This is going to be a bit of 4D chess on the grandest stage for the race win, as he thinks he's overtaken us with ease, but we have actually gone to none ERS. We almost push him through the corner, such as the grip levels on the soft tyre, but I'm making sure we don't also wear out our softs too quickly, and we've got rubber at the end of the race, but we are going to go for the cheeky dive bomb from quite far back, side by side, squeezing out Verstappen, and all while saving ERS, crucially, because right now, even though we're on the better tyre, remember, our Jaguar engine is down on power compared to other manufacturers, and the problem is Verstappen is close enough for DRS as well, which he is going to pull through. So I need to, that's why I'm playing this so tactically. I'm trying to save up as much energy as I can to then blitz it and break the 1 second and give us a bit of breathing room buffer, just to then control the last stint here, to then give us a good chance, because I feel like, make no mistake, the Verstappen we're seeing in this season is absolutely on it, so I have no doubts that he is going to be attacking us by the end of the stint, and we need to just give ourselves time to keep these tyres in a good way and not be fighting him every single lap. So he's locked up there, as Verstappen maybe uncharacteristically feels the pressure slightly, and now we go to overtake mode to overtake him, DRS open, and we'll then pop it down to hot lap mode, and we are now going to try and blitz it from this point onwards, and by lap 26 hopefully get a buffer where we don't have to worry about Verstappen with DRS. Then we try and control the tyre wear, not go so hard on them, don't lean on them too much, to give us rubber for the end of the race, when inevitably Verstappen probably is going to start catching us, just because even though he is on a two-step harder compound, because of the nature of the soft v hard. Even though our tyre has been better, he will be on the better race tyre because the soft isn't really a good race tyre anywhere. The medium is a different story, and clearly we worked very well with the medium in the first stint. Speaking of the soft tyre though, Piastri, has he gone soft? Piastri's done medium soft in this race. Oh my days. If that's not an indication of how aggressive we could be in this season, I don't know what will. That's got me rubbing my hands together. That's a good prospect. That's very promising for Piastri then, doing that. And he is into the points. P9, I think that's a solid recovery, to be honest. Lap 26, we are 1.5 ahead of Verstappen. Just taking it easy, not pushing too hard to make sure we have rubber at the end of the race. Meanwhile, Bortoleto knocking on the door of the top 10. The Honda coming through. This will be a good recovery for Bortoleto as well, to be honest, because he was down the order with Piastri. So maybe Bortoleto already in this second race, getting to grips with the Honda. His teammates P4 right now ahead of Colapinto. So the Red Bulls slip down outside the top 4, let alone the top 3. Aaron comfortably on for a podium as onto the second last lap of the Grand Prix. Verstappen, you can see, is closing in again. 1.1 becomes 1 second nearly as he is going to make a last charge in this race. And you can see my ERS light flashing as I'm making sure I'm charging up enough energy, because right now I've only got 16% battery, so I need to make sure I've got ERS for the last lap, because now you can see the tyres are starting to cry out. So even though this car has been really good on its tyres so far, the soft tyre is a soft tyre, and it's going to fall away a lot more dramatically than the other two compounds. And also, to be honest, I'm not going to lie, the pressure of Verstappen behind you gets to you. That was just a mistake from me and that left-hander, because Verstappen being right behind you is no easy scenario. He's just there in the mirrors, left, right. The pressure mounts psychologically, and you just know that he's going to put up a big fight. And again, I'm looking to play a bit of 4D tactical Formula 1 chess by going slower in this section, putting the ERS down to none, inviting Verstappen by. We now get DRS back, so we are playing a big game to make sure we can get P1 here, because I mean, I want the win. I want the win. After what maybe looked like a bit of a difficult start to the season, if we can get an early win in race 2, I'll take it as we go from the right to left. We dummy Verstappen a little bit, round the outside, side by side, into turn 1 on the last lap for the lead. We're into it, but Verstappen will come back at us. I think he's going to have DRS this time. No, we will as well. But Verstappen's just so quick, we have to use battery, and we're going to give him a taste of his own medicine. Get the elbow out, squeeze him out wide, and maintain P1 into the S section. We go none ERS again to again save battery for the onslaught that might come in the last sector. Oi. Big snap of oversteer, and we have saved it. And you know what? That actually helped us. That drift into the hairpin actually maybe spooked Verstappen a little bit. That may have been, a little bit Jensen Button in Brazil, 2009-esque. Kick the tail out on purpose, I would say, in post-match interviews to just, make him back off a little bit. All right, that's the story I'm going to go with in the pen after this race as we come through the final couple of corners, harvesting again to now dump the entire battery. And I say entire battery, we only had 5% battery left, so you can see how crucial tactically playing with ERS was in this race, because we are using everything we've got to try and stay ahead of Verstappen. As we run to the line, we run out of battery, and Verstappen, he gains on us. If we didn't have that 2% left of battery, we could have lost that, but we haven't. And we have got Antonelli's first win for the team here in Bahrain as Piastri makes a brilliant recovery.
He has done it again! Andrea Kimi Antonelli takes the checkered flag.
You always look back at a race like this and think, if I'd just made that mistake there or locked up here, there would have been contact. And every one of those overtakes is a moment where you have to absolutely nail it, perfect it, and that's exactly what they're able to do today. Great stuff indeed.
So much to talk about. We will continue to do so, but first it is time for the podium. This is special stuff for Kimi Antonelli on the top step.
Absolutely sensational stuff here. Antonelli versus Verstappen, and we've come out on top with Antonelli. Beautiful stuff. Piastri, P9. It's a valiant recovery effort from 22nd place. That's actually quite impressive for an AI teammate, and showing the good pace on the car with his medium soft strategy. That is just bonkers, to be honest. So a lot of good signs from this race. Of course, you know, the Red Bulls taking themselves out a little bit with Gasly's damage, Colapinto not having the race pace there, Tsunoda not being in it. I think he could have been a threat to us later on in the race. So still not convinced fully about where we sit. You know, I think there's still some stronger showings to come from rival teams, but we'll take an early win. You'll take one of those, won't you? So guys, if you've enjoyed it, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly full-on content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.